It's Saturday, so I guess this is just a weekend vlog. It was a rough week. I'm feeling a lot better today, and I'm hoping to get a lot of reading done as well as progress on this non-creative, non-fiction NaNoWriMo thing I'm attempting to do for my college class. Updates. I'm in the middle of the second story in Love After the End. Sage and I finished mapping the interior. The end was a little bit confusing, but it was very well written, and I'm curious about Stephen Graham Jones's other books, although I'm not sure if my unseasoned horror reading experience will make for enjoying them or not. That makes no sense. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't read a lot of horror, and so I feel like with the things I've heard about The Only Good Indians, I might be just too terrified to actually read it. But we will see. That's for another time because I have so many things to read still this month. Let's see. I'm about halfway through my reread of Islands of Decolonial Love. Did I listen to another audiobook? I finished Race to the Sun. That was super fun. No, I didn't listen to another audiobook. I was going to start listening to the audiobook of Plague of Doves by Louise Erdrich and borrowed it from Hoopla, and I can't stand either of the narrators' voices. So that's fun. I also can't stand the one for the Roundhouse either. I guess if I want to try to make it through those this month, I will have to read them physically. So that we'll see what happens there. So right now, for the rest of my audiobook plans, there was just There, and The Marrow Thieves. I'm not really feeling something as like action-y as I think The Marrow Thieves is going to be, but I also was going to kind of like read There physically alongside, so I'm just kind of like audiobook crisis, and I spent like half an hour yesterday looking at all of these different Indigenous Australian books and trying to find audiobooks for them on Libby and Hoopla, but I could not find any of them on there, so I don't know. I can get very picky about audiobooks sometimes because I'm like, it has to be like a voice and a story that I like can feel comfortable being like so like intimate with, if that makes sense. What other updates do I have? I gave my parents their books on Monday, I think it was. Maybe it was Sunday night. I don't remember. But they were both extremely excited. I think my dad might be done with Whale Rider at this point. My mom has not started Native, but I'm really hoping that she will soon. So I think today the plan is to get through at least the end of the story I'm reading in Love After the End, and to get a good chunk in Islands of Decolonial Love. I think Sarah and I are going to watch this movie called I Dream in Another Language, which is like about trying to salvage this disappearing Indigenous language from somewhere in Mexico. Hopefully we can coordinate time zones for that. I think that's it for now. I'm probably just going to knit a while right now while I listen to another podcast episode of Coffee and Quack or All My Relations. I spent about $70 on yarn yesterday, which I don't know how to feel about that, but I have to finish this project here, and then I'm going to be knitting another blanket for my small 6-year-old sort of adopted neighbor, sister, friend for Christmas. So I got like 8 or 9 skeins of yarn for that, and then I keep having to buy more yarn for this because I get to the like last 5-ish rows of one color and I run out of yarn, so I have to buy another skein, and I use like a tiny bit of it, so I have all this leftover yarn, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I have to make something out of it. I told Sarah last night that I have really reached the point where I can join her at Big Grandma Energy. I'll show you the yarn now. Ta-da! There's more down there, and more in here. and all of that. Time really got away from me. I ended up working on the writing project thing. I guess you could call it an essay collection. I ended up doing a ton of research on early colonization of Canada and of residential schools on the continent, and now I'm just really, really, really angry. I've also been drawing on this book, the 500 Years of Resistance comic book by Cord Hill, for this project, and I would definitely recommend it as a introduction to some Indigenous history. It's very short. Yeah, it's just cool that there's so many comic histories out there. I think this guy has a book about anti-capitalist resistance as well. That's a comic book. Okay, yeah, so he's got the anti-capitalist resistance comic book and then the Antifa comic book, 100 Years of Fascism and Antifa Movements. There's also one called The Fight for Turtle Island. Or maybe he's just an illustrator. Interesting. Ooh, and I guess he's got a book called 500 Years of Indigenous Resistance that... it's a very short book, 72 pages, but I guess it was adopted into the comic book. I want to read that. Sound isn't too terrible. I'm just too sleepy to go get my earbuds mic thing from upstairs. But it's now Monday morning. Yesterday ended up being surprisingly busy, and I didn't really do anything related to the vlog. So Saturday night, Sarah and I watched A Dream in Another Language. I was kind of surprised that because the plot was following these two elderly men who were the last speakers of an indigenous language somewhere in the wilderness of Mexico. But the language was made up for the film, which I thought was kind of weird. But it was really well done. It was beautiful, beautiful scenery. It was very sad. But we had a nice time watching it together, and then we're now at the second story, finished the second story in Love After the End, and oh wow, the second one, the ending of it, so good, so precious, so much a beautiful future dream. So I'm about to start The Arc of the Turtle's Back by Jay Simpson, who was actually one of the poets from the Zoom that was from the Edmonton Library that I had in my last vlog. So I'm excited to read more of their work. So I will sign off here, I guess. Wait, one more thing. So I had audiobook crisis. I found a 3-hour audiobook of a book by Leanne Vitasmasoff Simpson that is a collection of Anishinaabe stories. Hi, my dad came upstairs and interrupted me, and then he's on the phone. So I thought this might help, but he's also being very loud, so sorry if there's noises from downstairs. So the audiobook by Leanne, is called The Gift is in the Making, and I'm only 20 minutes into it, but it's really good so far. I quite literally want to read everything she's ever written, so yeah, I had known of several of her other books, but I hadn't known about this one, so I was excited to discover that, and it's on Hoopla, so it's available for anyone with a library card. Is that it? I said I was going to sign off, right? and start my next vlog, because technically this was supposed to be the weekend. I have class in like half an hour, so yeah, I gotta go. Bye.